What's up, family? Welcome back to another episode of the One Fourth Careers Podcast. I'm Xavier, your host, and I am here with Michael. Michael graduated from Alabama A&M University with a Bachelor of Science in Electrical Engineering with a concentration in computers and a minor in mathematics in 2018. He also earned his Master's in Systems Engineering from Alabama A&M University in 2020. Now, Michael is a principal electrical engineer at Northrup Grumman, a global aerospace and defense company. Welcome to the pod, Michael. Appreciate you stopping by, brother. How you doing?
Good. Thank you so much for having me on the podcast. It's truly an honor.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The honor is all mine, big bro. I'm really excited for this episode. And I didn't mention, not only do I have you as a guest and giving you your intro, but we got the little princess here too. She is joining us for the pod. She is here to share some words of wisdom to inspire all of you. And as you all will hear from this almost 3-month-old, she is very opinionated. So she may chime in here and there, but that's what we're here for. And excited to have you too. Thank you. Thank you for joining. All right. Wonderful. Well, man, how's your summer going, man? How's life treating you these days? We haven't talked in a little minute, but I want to know how things are going.
Yeah, life is pretty good. Summer is very hot. Very hot. Like
Very.
yeah, we're breaking records. Like it is scorching.
Oh my goodness. Stay in the house. Get some water. You need some
Man,
water.
trying to. So
Yeah.
definitely staying hydrated. I don't know if you heard about the whole thing with the cicadas that came around at the beginning of the summertime.
I heard about it. You had some in your windshield and stuff, bro.
Oh man, did we? Like you could
Oh.
hear them outside just chanting. It's crazy.
Man, that's crazy. Well, cool. Well, you're a principal engineer at Northrop Grumman. I know you personally, but tell the people a little bit more about your background. People who are watching, people who are listening, what it's relevant for them to know about Michael N.
All right. So I can sum that up in a couple of words here. So came from a small town, good old Murray, Alabama, which
Yep.
is in Washington County. And then for people that don't get it there, it's 1.5 hours north of Mobile. That normally nails it right there. It's like, okay, I have an idea of where
You got to triangulate.
Yeah. You just pinpoint the position and boom, you're there. So yeah, growing up and stuff, always had a thing for knowledge, always learning the next greatest thing, asking a lot of questions as I grew up. Like, why is this like this? How does this work? What does this do? Like, all those different questions really kind of fueled my passion towards, going where I did. And, going through elementary, middle, high school, I always had a severe focus on the grades. Always wanted to show what I was capable of at
Mm,
all times. It's like it because not like it wasn't like any form of, I'm not trying to say I'm better than you. I'm not trying to do anything like that. Just pretty much exercising my gifts. So I kept that energy going to college at Alabama A&M University, and the wave was just absolutely beautiful. Like I ended up going, electrical engineering, like you were saying earlier, and the whole journey of just my college experience was absolutely beautiful. First and foremost, super proud of going to the HBCU.
yes,
Got to
sir.
say that one time, nice and loud. But yes, it was just an amazing experience altogether. I learned so much, and I ended up diving deep into this study, this research, this brave new advancement in the study of technology that I so yearned to know as I grew up. So it's one thing hearing about it, it's one thing seeing it, using all these different innovations that in our lifetime there have
Mhm.
been millions.
Yeah.
So it was just great to finally get that understanding, and not only get the understanding, learn what I'm doing, know what I'm doing, thrive at what I'm doing, but then finally after graduating, go and making it my full-time career. So it's definitely been a
Yeah.
great journey, and I'm excited for what the future holds.
Man, I love that. I appreciate you providing that overview because I think for a lot of people who know you at our alma mater, you have always been known for a person who knows a lot. And for a person who obviously to know a lot, you must have been very curious. And it always came across as someone who is very comfortable discovering the unknown. Never anyone who shied away from finding the truth or finding out how things work. And I think that was something that rubbed off on a lot of people, that in many ways inspire people to want to go seek knowledge for themselves. They see how useful it is in real time. Somebody asks a question, Michael Land knows. Someone's curious about a certain topic, or maybe you just share some of the knowledge that you've gained through the research and hard work that you put forward. I think you've always been one who's always been excited and proactive and just sharing what you've gained as well. So I think even you learning so much about the innovation and technologies and the workings of a lot of different systems and related fields, you've always been one to share that knowledge back. And I think that's always had a positive impact on me and so many other people. So I think that's really telling for you to kind of share. You've always been that way, because it's always interesting of like, how did this person become who they are, and what's in their background. So with that, I actually want us to transition to my first segment. My very first segment is called Step Back. So you talked about your adolescent times of being one of full of curiosity, you asking a lot of questions in Millry, Alabama, an hour and a half north of Mobile. What did you want to be growing up?
That is a very interesting question. So honestly, after, with this curiosity came a lot of different what ifs. So I'll be honest, starting off, I really didn't know. But I know as I started going further in my education, learning more and more every single day, like I was very, very, very heavy on the science side of life. Like I'm talking about the guy with the lab coat microscope observing the universe. Like that's pretty much the fact. Like that was me all the way through and through. Like literally, that's where I started. I'll say it like that. That's where I started. And it
I
kind
love
of,
it.
I'm not gonna say completely faded away. It's kind of morphed together, fused in a way.
I bet you continue to reinvent your vision for what you wanted to be as you continue to learn new things, which I'm
Yes,
sure there were some
absolutely.
really incredible and interesting iterations of that as you grew older, experienced so many things. I know that you have an extensive work history, so we can touch on that too. Getting back to regular programming after that segment, how would you describe the roles and responsibilities of a principal engineer?
I would say that the roles and responsibilities, you get to a point where like whenever you make it to this level with the engineering workforce as well as just electrical engineering in general, yeah, you take on way more responsibility in terms of, I guess, think of it more so having the ability to work together with different groups to reach the common goal while at the same time being able to handle individual tasks on your own. Like pretty much normally with entry level, you get a little bit of training, a little bit of guidance, a little bit of, pushing here and there just to get you over the finish line. But at this level, you're now at that part where, okay, I am comfortable in my field. I have studied. I now have a decent understand. Well, I have a pretty good understanding of what it is I'm working on and why I'm doing this and how I'm doing this. And pretty much you're able to contribute not only to whatever team you're on, but the program as a whole, just
Mhm.
based on that advanced experience and knowledge that you have over someone coming in fresh. So it's uh, definitely for a day-to-day scenario, yeah, you're pretty much contributing way more now with the information that you have based on your experience.
Yeah, that's really insightful. Now, tell me, how did you get into your current role or the entry level role that led you to the particular stage in your career that you're in? How did you acquire that opportunity?
So it is actually a pretty interesting story. So starting off, Northrup, they came to our school, they gave a speech to all the students. It was my sophomore year. I'm still trying to, get a feel for electrical engineering. I'd learned all the basics at this point, did all the intro classes. It's like, okay, all right, this is great. Now, how do I use this in real life? 'Cause I didn't want it to
Mm,
be like one of those subjects where it's like, okay, middle school, high school, you learn something and then you never touch it again.
yep.
So they came out, they spoke, they told their story about the company and stuff, and I instantly was hooked. And it was crazy because yes, I was very interested and I ended up trying my hardest, all kind of different ways of applying and trying to reach out, trying to connect with different people from the company. And what happened was, so prior to joining them, I ended up actually getting the first shot at L3. And so at first I kind of saw it as a bit of as like almost a letdown, because like I was aiming for this one, but I hit this one. It was a
Mhm.
bullseye, but still. I then went out there, and all the valuable information that I learned, all the etiquette that I learned in the workforce, and just all the experiences that I had there actually was preparing me for the position at Northrop. And I was like unaware, completely unaware of what was to come. And so I come back with the experience. I now have continued my GPA process and all that good stuff. And career fair comes around, and this was through Nesby, and we then get the opportunity to have a couple of interviews. And they were trying to send me here, they were trying to send me there. Let's go to Florida. You sound like you want to go to Cali. And ultimately, they just flat out asked me, after seeing the resume and being very impressed with the interview and just liking me overall as an individual. They pretty much just asked me, okay, what is it that you want to do? Where do you want to work? Because we built a relationship in that interview. And I really appreciate how it all played out. And I pretty much was able to pretty much blaze my own path. So that got me in the door, and the work ethic, dedication, perseverance kept me moving up.
Yeah. I love that. That was a really, really cool story to hear about perseverance, goal setting, knowing what you want to do, being proactive of reaching out to people for the role that
Yes.
you wanted. And it also
Yes.
reflects the hard work that you put in of from the academic standpoint, getting the work experience, preparing
Yes.
yourself for the opportunity that will later reveal itself. And I know in some instances when we talk about luck, some define that as being prepared for an opportunity. So I think that's really telling, and I appreciate you sharing that. Now, tell me a little bit about the skills that you feel or that you've observed are needed to thrive in your role that you're currently in, and for an electrical engineer, maybe more broadly.
Okay, I'll start off soft, and then we'll get to the technical stuff. I
Okay.
would definitely say, from a soft skill point of view, you want to have the ability to listen and the ability to ask questions, because no, you don't want to go in fresh. You don't want to go in fresh thinking that you know every single thing about the company and that you can do it all by yourself. That is the instant
Bar.
that is a instant path to the opposite of success. But I would say, yeah, just going in with with confidence, knowing that you can do it, like regardless of what's been said, regardless of who you are, where you come from, your background, any of that. Going in with that confidence that you can do it, you deserve to be here. You're here for a reason. Like that matters a lot in terms of
Mm.
progressing through your career. But I would say on top of that, yeah, for this role, yeah, you start off with a couple of electrical engineering basics, and you pretty much expound on it as you progress through the career. So just different things in this role. We deal a lot with design of multiple electrical components. We do a lot of data analysis, power analysis, and we do a lot of problem solving, a whole lot of problem solving, which
Mhm.
for any engineer is vital, 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 vital. Being able to critically think and come up with the solutions to random scenarios or situations that pop up at a given notice is always, always a key asset in your field.
Now, tell me this. I've never thought about asking someone this, but the skill problem solving. If a person feels that they're not the best problem solver in the world, I know me for one, being an engineer by trade, I hate puzzles. I used to equate problem solving. Sometimes I'll just use my baseline as how good am I at solving riddles and puzzles, and I'm like, maybe I'm not that good of a problem solver. I don't know. How would you describe how a person can develop good problem solving skills?
Well, to answer that question, I would first say that the person stops, they look back and they see what they have, like starting off. Like what are they
Mhm.
given? What do they know? What can they do? What can they, like how can they contribute to the problem? Like to the, like solving the problem? not contributing to the problem, but solving the problem.
Okay. I like
But
that.
yes, and then like from there, it's like you can pretty much build up. It's like, all right, it could be, all right, we working our way up to solving this insane complex puzzle, but it could also start off as simple as just a simple answer. It's like, okay, looking at it from a different angle than what you normally would if that would be the case in that and whatever situation you got there. So
Yeah. Now that also makes me think too, for someone who's a good problem solver, if you're able to ask really important questions, that's like a step in solving a problem. So
yes.
maybe if you think about problem solving, a lot of times when that is mentioned, I don't think people dissect what it takes to be a good problem solver all the time.
Mm,
And I think this is a good opportunity to affirm individuals that problem solving to solve a problem is a complete process. Having
yes.
problem solving, having the ability to solve problems, it's not like a skill. I know we listed on our resume, we mentioned it in conversation, but problem solving is more like a system. What goes
Yes.
into problem solving? Asking questions, being willing
Hmm.
to experiment, being creative, putting in the hard work to understand maybe the environment or the context of the problem. To solve a
Yes.
problem, you have to know what the problem even is. You have to understand what the problem is. Um, so I think that's a quick shout out. That's a quick shout
Yes.
out for anyone out there who doesn't feel like they're a good problem solver, or maybe they hear it thrown around so much you don't really know what it is. I affirm you that if you are able to dissect the steps that it takes to solve various problems, you may be surprised to find out that you're a pretty dang good problem solver. So you inspired me to want to call that out, as you mentioned a couple of items of being very curious and asking questions and being a good listener. I noticed that a lot of that really does make up the problem solving skill. So if you guys kind of do that, if you think about problem solving in that way, hopefully you will be able to identify what you can do, to Michael's point, and you'll also be able to identify what you need more experience with. And before you graduate, or before you go into a certain role, or even while you're in a role, you can enhance your problem solving skills. It's not you're born with it or you're not. You can put in some effort to refine that skill. So,
Absolutely.
going from there, Michael, from talking about skills, I want to ask you about programs and associations that individuals can potentially join wherever they're at in their career to be around like minded individuals who may be aspiring electrical engineers, who maybe want to work in the industry that you're in. What were you a part of in your journey, and what have you observed for people in different parts of their career path?
Okay. So for starters, there are a lot of different organizations, programs, different things of that nature that you can really start at from honestly any level, but I will say coming from the collegiate level, moving
Okay.
up to the professional level. So there's a lot of different programs where you can join and really be around, I guess you could say your peers in this case.
Hmm.
So a couple of them, the list would definitely be NSB, National Society of Black Engineers. You end up coming into this professional organization that is around the globe and just there for you to help build you up in any way possible in this professional field. And you end up finding different ways of not only building yourself up professionally, but also opportunities to mentor, give back, to really coach yourself up to the employee that you want to be, or the owner, chief, CEO, whatever it is. You basically get those foundational add-ons
Yeah.
from organizations like this. And then for electrical engineers, you also have IEEE.
Mm.
So you have different avenues there where you can really thrive deep in the field itself. So NESB is pretty much broad for all engineering, different all engineering aspects. IEEE is focusing deep on electrical engineering, some computer science as well, because yes, electrical engineers, we're a little bit versatile. So yes, people talk about power, people talk about different kind of electronics, nuclear, the whatnot, but on the other side of things, you also have that software side, coding side, different technical aspects that you can also include in this field as well. So I would say those two were definitely two gigantic ones that really, really linked you up with like minded people because they were all there for the same reason to better themselves in their field and in their profession to further expound on the major that they chose. Like it was definitely two great options there. So yeah.
Shout out Nesby, shout out IEEE, shout out to electrical engineers out there, man. I want to ask you now about what are some of the different roles, some of the different departments, functions, career fields that an electrical engineer may find themselves interacting with?
Okay. So with depending on whatever job or position you take, you basically can interface with all different types of disciplines. So a lot of times with our scenario where I work, we always bounce ideas off each other. We cross train, we do all kind of different things. So electrical engineers, they interface with mechanical engineers on a day-to-day basis. Both of our majors interface with systems engineers on a day-to-day basis, and all of us together will end up interfacing with business, logistics, different forms of quality services, just all of these different disciplines just come together to, we're all working towards getting the same goal accomplished. So I love how everyone plays their part in terms of getting the goal achieved. So I really like that. And with most jobs, that's pretty much how it is. You're not like not saying that you have to just completely be straight major, straight field, straight concentration, but at the same time, you get opportunities to really learn stuff outside of your field. And for some people outside of their comfort zone, but it also makes you a better engineer overall in the long run. So yeah, definitely that.
Yeah, I love that because it also highlights teamwork. It
Yes.
highlights even as an individual contributor, you are a small part of but a bigger mission company.
Yes.
So it is important to try to think ahead of who you want to work for. What mission do you want to contribute to? It can
Yes.
be very exciting. It can be very empowering to know that there is an added element of choice that you have. So embrace that, prepare for that, and go earn the opportunity to have that luxury of deciding who you want to work for. So I think that that's really telling, and I appreciate you highlighting a little bit of the different roles that you interact with, because I think that's really powerful for a person to know that maybe some of those transferable experiences you have in undergrad and being a part of different clubs and being around different functions and talking to people who may not be in a particular field similar as yours, but knowing how to communicate, I think that's another skill that's really important. It's going to help being able to make a complex topic very simple when you're talking to someone, when you have to explain to them what you do, but if they don't really understand what that is. I think a good lesson I've heard, good piece of advice I've heard, being able to explain whatever topics that you're looking to articulate to a 5-year-old or to someone who's younger, and that's not more on like the demeaning side. That's just more of that's like a really sought after skill. If you can
Yes.
explain something really complicated in a simple way, that is a skill. So wanted to
Yes.
highlight that for you all, and wanted to transition into one of my favorite questions of the episode, which is if you could go back to undergrad and give yourself advice to better prepare yourself for your role, the career field you're in, or life in general, what would that advice look like?
I would definitely go back to my past and I would definitely say, do not be afraid to ask questions. Don't, because what happens normally you have somebody going in with that chip on their shoulder. It's like, okay, I'm supposed to know this. I'm supposed to have all this fully understood like the back of my hand. I'm going to go to this new job. They're going to throw all of this advanced stuff at me that I've probably seen once or twice. And I'm supposed to have all the answers right then and there. But most of the time, it is never the case. You go in with a willingness to learn and the ability of asking questions. And not only does it keep it in a sense, it keeps you humble in the entry level as well as far as going in with your head on straight, ready to learn and ready to work. But at the same time, asking those questions and getting those answers, getting that understanding, that nurturing or training, what have you, you basically take that and it builds on your professional career as a whole. And it just makes you that much more of a dependable employee. And it
Yeah.
just allows you to be that person for the next generation that comes through because now you've built your portfolio off of knowledge that you have tested and verified, and
Mhm.
you're able to pour into the next individual. So it's an amazing life cycle, if you want to call it that.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. You know what they say at Alabama A&M, service is sovereignty. So I
Yes,
love that service element to
absolutely.
how you kind of underpinned the advice you would give yourself, not just something that you can practice to better improve your working experience and multiply that impact to the organization that you're working for, but also how you are able to also improve the lives and the experiences of those coming behind you. So I think that is
Yeah.
really important for people to think about too. Now, for
Yes.
a person who may be an aspiring electrical engineer who wants to be have similar work experiences as Michael, what would you tell them they have to look forward to when they get to that full time role? What does the career trajectory, upward mobility, career path look like in terms of levels, and how you would describe what that environment is like for an electrical engineer?
So the beauty in electrical engineering is it is such an open major. Like with the things that you can go, like the levels you can go up, the different position jumps you can go to. Like there are so many paths with electrical engineering.
Mhm.
You're allowed so much. I will call it engineering freedom to just really make it what you want. And with most companies, my company being the example here, yes, you go in, you start off at your entry level, and yeah, you're doing a task for a program, working with a team most of the time. But as
Mhm.
you progress, like as you gain that experience and get some know-how under your belt, you then have all these different avenues open up. It's like, all right, we see that in your electrical engineering expertise, we see that you really like working on the software side of things. Like you have an amazing coding skill set. Well, we actually have some software engineering positions here, and here that would be in terms of either promotions or just, let's say you want a new scene, like okay, you like electrical engineering but you really like the coding side of things, you can then take that path. If you want to go into different power analysis or nuclear sides of things, you can take that path. If you want to go
Mm.
into design, like me personally, yes, I absolutely love design due to the flow of the creativity that is always around. I love that. So if you want to stick with that, or if you want to continue with that, you can always go that path. And each of these paths are all have their upwards in terms of promotions. Like normally there are yes, on paper the set in stone how long you got to be to get there and stuff, but a lot of times what happens is with your work ethic and with your record being laid out before people doing your reviews and all, normally you end up progressing way faster than what's listed because they see, okay, we have an incredible employee here, we do not want to lose them, and we definitely want to show them how appreciative we are of their hard work and efforts. So
Mm.
definitely the sky is the limit when you go with electrical engineering. Absolutely.
I love that. That was a lot of gems you just dropped, man. And I think something I took away that spoke to me is when you were saying the different tracks you can be a part of. So for someone who is an aspiring electrical engineer, that's maybe more thinking about your major. But if you think about what you want to do as an electrical engineer, you'll always be an electrical engineer. But
Hmm.
what aspect of electrical engineering do you want to tap into? Is it coding? Is it power analyses? Do you want to apply your electrical engineering expertise to nuclear? There are
Yes.
different tracks that you can join, and upward mobility for all of those. If you stay in those tracks, it does appear to be vertical, where you naturally over time you increase your level at an organization, but you also have the opportunity to move adjacent within
Y-
electrical engineering to different tracks. So I think
yes.
that's really telling, and it's kind of more housekeeping, wanting to explain to people what you have to look forward to, not just give you the overview, give you some things you could follow, but also tell you what's kind of at the end of that tunnel for you, and what that experience is like. Having a man on the inside to give you all some info.
Hey,
Now,
nice.
I want you to answer something else for me. This is our second segment of the show. It's called a three piece. However,
Hey.
you like the three pieces, We love them anyway, with a biscuit, with a side, whatever it is, my brother. But three pieces are definitely something that is great for everybody. Everybody likes a three piece. Whatever you want in your box, you feel that whatever you want. But for me, what I want from you, what I want viewers and listeners to know, what I want them to fill in their three-piece box is, what are three words you would use to describe your career journey thus far?
All right. I would have to say my three words are perseverance.
Okay.
Hold on, all right. So perseverance being the first one. The second one, confidence.
Mm-hmm.
And the third one, humility.
Mm.
Always. Always.
Okay.
And
I
those
like
like
that.
those three pillars can really take you far in whatever direction you want to go.
I
Because
like that.
one, it gives you that drive to never give up. Two, it gives you that mindset of always being confident, knowing that this is where you belong. Like this is your calling. And then three, never forgetting where you come from.
Mm. Bars, dropping a sermon for the people, man. I appreciate that. So, who or what inspires you? With everything that you mentioned, I feel that something inspired you, something fueled you to become the person that you are, to attack your profession the way that you do, and to live life to the fullest the way that you have been. Who or what inspires you?
I would say that answer. My dad definitely inspired me a whole lot growing up. Being that role model for myself, my brothers, my sister, like just being that role model for us and standing up and really being, man of the house and stuff and really getting the job done and taking care of all of us as we grew up. It really, those life lessons will always stick. And it really molded a lot of my thought process, a lot of how I see things, and a lot of how I really attack in terms of taking on the next task each and every day. So I would say my father being one, uh, my brothers and sister, like all like seeing them instill so much in me and inspire so much for me growing up. Like it was like, okay, I have all of these people in my corner. They all want what's best for me. They all want to see me succeed, and they're all here for me. And that having that support system was so vital. And it oftentimes I even stop and think to myself, where would I be if I didn't have that support system? And each and every single day, I am very thankful for having that support system. So that would definitely be what my inspiration has been and what has basically created this individual.
Okay, all right. Now, using that inspiration, your support system, how will that drive you and fuel you for the next year or two? Where do you see yourself in that time frame?
I see myself only getting better because of what the foundation was.
Mhm.
That foundation has allowed me to grow more and more and more. The confidence, it's there. Getting experience every single year only increases knowledge. And that combination just continues to just let life flourish pretty much almost automatically. And I am definitely here for it. So I'm really just kind of enjoying the ride, if you will.
Yeah, I love that. Now, enjoying the ride. Tell us a little bit more about what that means. What do you have going on in your world, my brother?
Well, all right. So for starters, enjoy, just loving every single day, like enjoying what you do, enjoying life in general. Like you don't want your whole life to just be, I guess, I'm not gonna say boring, but I'll say you don't want it to go stale. You always want to keep it fresh. You always want to really, really wake up in the morning, smile on your face, jumping out. I don't know if you ever saw the American Dad intro, but that's the mentality.
Okay,
Like
okay.
you're waking up, taking on the world in any way, shape, form, or fashion. But yeah, like as far as what I got going on nowadays, Yes, I do my engineering things. Yes, I do all of that. I keep it professional there when a professional is needed. But on the other hand of stuff, like I've dipped my toes in content creation, in which I've actually had a lot of success there, and I'm very proud of it. And it really got me out of my shell in a sense. I used to be very, 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 very serious, but now it's like I'm
Mm,
more of a outgoing, laid back, humble but helpful type individual that likes to do content on the side. So like my content ranges from all different kinds of topics. It's very, very random, but I'm here
yeah.
for it. And I really enjoy that. And then another passion of mine that I pretty much just picked up a few years back was going deep into the world of 3D printing. Always saw it, always heard about it, always saw people, really praising the innovations of this whole topic. But once
Mhm.
you get into it, it's a whole nother lens. Like you start printing, you get your first successful print, and before you know it, you are now that confident printer with your printer tuned in to the point where it's printing gold at this point. So yeah, like
Oh my
it is
goodness.
a very fun hobby. And it's even to the point now where I'm even taking my love for design and expounding on that. Yes, I use design for electrical purposes at work, but now I can also use my love for design for different like different modeling simulations or different
Mhm.
modeling, sculpting, and all that stuff, really making whatever I want.
Yep.
I've been able to take that skill and really build on it, and I'm continuously building on it now to where I'm the reliable printer, if you will, to really help solve everyday situations. Like the amount of situations that I've solved around my house alone with
Yes,
this printer is hilarious.
it
But I
is.
love it. I love it. It's like it's like solving that puzzle to the point where you always know you'll have the piece because you make the piece. So it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
Cool. I love that. I appreciate you sharing that. I definitely recommend y'all tap into the content creation that Michael puts out regularly. It is really cool seeing kind of your videos when you show the everyday problems that you solve with your 3D printer. I'm like, man, shout out to my guy flexing. Like you can fix stuff, you can create stuff. I'm like, I'm sure your wife is very happy. Um,
Absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
love
It's
that.
yeah, it's a whole lot of fun to really enjoy yourself and just really enjoy the whole process of doing this. And
Yeah.
on top of the content creation, on top of the 3D printing and stuff, yes, I still dabble in my musical realm. So
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
as far as when the next drop would ever be, that is a great question. But I'm letting the musical process handle itself in a way. I want it to stay authentic. I want it to stay natural. I don't want to really rush it. I want to perfect the craft. If that's the best way I can put it there. Yeah.
Yeah, well, y'all will be able to find all of the links to what Michael has going on. Check it out. A very interesting guy, a very passionate guy, very positive, very happy, gives out great energy. So go support any of his channels and any of his pages. I don't think you will regret it. So, Michael, we are here at the end, my brother. Let the people know what's on your heart, what's on your mind. What do you want to leave viewers and listeners with?
If I had to leave them with anything, I would definitely say that hmm, to go in the simplest way of saying this, never ever ever stop striving for what it is that you truly want in life. No matter what it takes to get there, if it's your passion, if it's your drive, if it's what you want to be, who you want to become, definitely continue that drive. And I promise you, at the end of that path, you're looking at nothing but gold.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I love that, man. Drop the mic. My guy, I give you your flowers. I think that you have been a very impactful person in the lives of a lot of people, multiplying the impact that your support system, your community provided you. So I thank you and I appreciate you being one of my biggest mentors that I had in school. As I hopefully go on to make a difference in the world, you will forever be a part of my story of people who have helped keep me on track, who have helped to inspire me, who have, been kind, someone in our engineering building with so much success where, you could have had a sort of bravado about you, being arrogant and kind of knowing everything, but instead, you always had a very kind spirit. You always really epitomized what it meant to be a server meant, and you left every space that you entered better than when you came. So shout out to you, man. And I'm so proud of you. And I'm glad that you are happy in all the facets of life that you're happy in, because you deserved it. And everything that you put out has come back to you tenfold. And I hope to continue to see that multiply. So I appreciate you stopping by the show, man, and pouring into everyone else who's tapping into the episode. I hope that everyone's able to pull away any gems, any takeaways that you shared. And I look forward to getting feedback from viewers and listeners on what they thought of the episode, man. So I'm excited for what this turns into. And I appreciate you for being part of One Fourth Careers podcast.
All right. It's been an honor. And again, thank you so much for having me. The honor is all mine.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, we'll be in touch, my brother. And yeah, I'll let you know when everything goes up, bro. So we'll chop it up.
All right.
All right. Appreciate you, man. Everyone, thank you all again for coming by to watch this episode. It was a pure joy to reconnect with my guy from Alabama A&M, my HBCU alma mater. You see that we crank them out. We crank out some real ones, I must say. Excited to bring yet another career to you all. Super excited that you all were also able to hear some of his passions, some of his interests. I'm telling y'all, check out his content creation pages. My guy doing some crazy stuff. It is being recognized, what I feel is worldwide, by a lot of products, a lot of brands, doing some cool stuff. And hopefully his adventurous nature, the things that he's interested in, the way that he's been able to go deep in a lot of areas, shows you that you have a lot of time on your hands. You have a lot of interests and passions that you are able to kind of nurture a bit. You don't always have to pick between just one thing, one or two things, but truly whatever makes you happy. And he is a testament of that. So thank you so much for staying until the end of the episode. As always, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification buttons. If you're not able to watch the episode, feel free to listen to it offline on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, as well as Amazon Music. So I appreciate all of you. Let me know what you think of the episode in the comments and what career you want to hear next. Thank you all so much, and stay happy, stay blessed. Peace.